If you do these things, it hurts the narcissist more than you can imagine. Even though narcissists often act like they are the victim or the person who is upset, they are often very sensitive. It's easy for things to hurt their fragile minds, though some things hurt them more than others. Watch this movie to learn what narcissists really struggle with and how to treat them with compassion and understanding. Any feedback that makes the narcissist feel less important or in charge is very painful. When narcissists feel like they are not safe, they may act angrily and want to get even. This means that if you ever argue with a narcissist, you should be very careful and watch what you say. A narcissist may also feel hurt when someone they look up to criticizes them. When someone they look up to criticizes or questions them, it can hurt their sense of self-worth. Keep in mind that narcissists often act out of fear and may lie, trick, or do things to hide how they really feel. Also, remember that narcissism is now widely seen as a mental disease, and that narcissists can't act in a self-centered way. They need our kindness and understanding as they deal with their own pain and fears. Even though it doesn't excuse what they did, it lets us approach them with kindness and a desire to help. Keep in mind that the narcissist will lie to get your attention. They are hoping that your kindness will give them another chance. Because of this, it is very important to set limits so that their bad behavior is punished. However, let's not waste time. I'm going to talk about 3 guaranteed ways to annoy a narcissist. First, it was taken apart and thrown away. When it comes to constructive feedback, narcissists are very easily hurt. They don't want to be alone because they need to be praised all the time by their family and friends. A narcissist needs help from other people to stay alive. When you let a narcissist take over your life, it gets harder and harder to get away from them. With the rise of social media and quick messaging, narcissists have been able to create an ideal online world where everyone loves them. Even though they don't see each other very often, they are still close, which is hard for most people. Narcissists, on the other hand, can get all the pleasure they need from the constant praise they get online. This will be enough for now to keep their weak minds and strange worries going. Being found out is the second thing that narcissists fear the most. Some of what I think about this subject is in my first film, so I won't say it again here. On the other hand, everyone knows that narcissists care a lot about how they look and will tell many lies to do it. The main goal of a narcissist is to make other people think they are more interesting and powerful than they really are. They must be in a lot of pain as they watch their whole world fall apart. The third and final thing that narcissists hate the most is being insulted. They know how their words affect the people around them because they are self-aware. Certainly, they use lies and other forms of manipulation, like words, to hurt other people. Narcissists, on the other hand, find it hard to take feedback in a constructive way. You can't tell narcissists the truth when you're with them. This happens all the time, but if you criticize the fake character they've made up, they'll take it personally. It will become clear that narcissists are especially easy to insult because they are already so stressed and paranoid. But there's always something wrong with them. It's poor, which is a bad thing. The situation does not look good now that they know the truth. They have a hard time understanding even the most basic ideas. These 3 things are most likely to bother a narcissist the most. Narcissists are bad at a lot of different things. They, on the other hand, are sneaky manipulators and shy animals. I'll end my day here since this is probably all I have to say. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Thanks for taking the time to read what we have to say. These are powerful words that can make a narcissist cry in fear and bow to you forever. Have you ever found yourself in the company of someone who disregards your feelings and well-being? Their self-centered nature may have been glaringly evident, making it challenging to establish a genuine connection with them. But fear not, you possess the strength to safeguard yourself. It's time to dismantle the facade erected by narcissists and reclaim your independence. Behold these 10 empowering words that will fortify you in dealing with narcissists and safeguarding your well-being. Are you prepared to reclaim your power? Let the journey begin. Let's embark on a journey of creative reimagining for these phrases. Phrase 1. Release the grip. Navigating the presence of a narcissist can be emotionally taxing, particularly when they adamantly refuse to relinquish control in a conflict or competition. Their relentless pursuit of victory renders them incapable of surrender. Even when backed into a corner, narcissists persist in their quest to prevail, leaving you feeling frustrated and defeated. Nevertheless, remember that this is a battle of the mind. Have faith in your own discernment and refuse to allow their actions to dictate your reactions. Display your courage and determination. In due time, they will yield. Prepare yourself for potential repercussions, but stand firm in the knowledge that you are safeguarding your mental well-being and asserting your autonomy as you gracefully relinquish control. Phrase 2. Assert your right to decline. Uttering the word no strikes at the core of a narcissist's fragile ego. It challenges their perceived strength and shatters their illusion of being adored. Avoiding the word no becomes their primary objective, leading them to employ manipulative and coercive tactics to get their way. However, it's imperative that you assert your boundaries confidently by utilizing the power of no when necessary. You have every right to decline a narcissist's demands if they jeopardize your safety or well-being. Prioritize your health and distance yourself from them to avoid succumbing to their persistent pressure. Remind yourself that you possess the autonomy to establish your own boundaries and reject their advances. Embrace the notion that self-care should not be tainted by the false guilt instilled by their manipulative tactics. Third phrase. Accept the phrase, I don't care. Narcissists love attention and will do anything to make themselves feel good about how important and right they are. Being close to these kinds of people can definitely be draining. Narcissists, on the other hand, can be stopped in their tracks with the words, I don't care. These 3 words cut to the core of a narcissist's pride, even though they are very simple. Their whole sense of self-worth comes from approval from other people, so saying, I don't care, is a straight rejection of everything they want approval for. It takes away their reason for being. For narcissists, the deep-seated need for constant praise can be hard to understand. Because they don't have a real sense of who they are, they are always looking for outside approval because they can't feel like they are important without other people thinking so. The fourth phrase, stop having power over me. It can be very hard to deal with a narcissist's constant need to be in charge. That being said, it's important to remember that you can set limits and stop them from manipulating you. By standing up for yourself and ending their control, you take back your independence and put your health first. Keep your cool and take charge of the situation. Make it clear that you won't put up with being used as a tool and that you want to be treated with respect. You don't have to be mean or aggressive to stand up for yourself. You might even earn the narcissist's reluctant admiration if you set clear limits and tell them about them in a calm way. It is possible that they will get angry, but it is still much better than giving in to their wants. 5 words. Say out loud, it's not about you. Dealing with a narcissist's behavior can be mentally and physically draining when it seems like they think the world revolves around them. But it's important to remember that what they do doesn't make you worth or valuable. In situations where the narcissist tries to put you down or make the focus on themselves, say, it's not about you. These words have a lot of power, which makes it clear that their deeds and beliefs don't have much of an effect on your life. Do not change your mind, and do not let their actions change how you see yourself. Remember that their whole world rotates around them, but yours doesn't have to. Keep your mind on what's important to you, and don't let the narcissist's actions make you feel bad about your own self-worth. Sixth sentence: push for self-accountability and more duty. It can be really difficult to deal with people who won't admit what they did or take responsibility. But keep in mind that you can only change how you act, not how other people handle things. It can be hard to get other people to be accountable, but it's important for keeping relationships strong. When you're working with a narcissist who always avoids taking responsibility, you need to use the right words to bring down their guard. Stand strong in your beliefs, even if the narcissist tries to shift the blame or make you feel bad for holding them accountable. Being honest about your flaws doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong and brave. Seventh phrase: bring out how inadequate they are. It can get annoying to deal with a narcissist, especially if they are always looking for praise and approval while putting other people down. But saying a narcissist, "You're not enough," breaks down their mask and makes what they say and do meaningless. It breaks them down with the weight of this sentence. When a narcissist realizes that their swollen ego doesn't match up with their real skills or accomplishments, they feel incredibly devastated. It really hurts them, makes them feel like a failure, and makes them want to give up. Narcissists often put on a show of confidence and superiority to hide their real flaws and insecurities. They may deal with feelings of not being good enough and low self-worth, even if they try to ignore your comments. Eighth phrase: show them what they don't know. A lot of the time, narcissists will do anything to avoid facing the truth or admitting their flaws. This makes relationships unhealthy. While telling a narcissist they are wrong about something might be hard, putting honesty and sincerity first is important for building better, more respectful relationships. By being strong and telling the truth, you help your relationships get better. It's easy to deal with a narcissist. Just tell them, "You lack a true understanding." Get ready for the ego-driven answer they might give. They might respond badly or try to get back at you. But don't let how they respond stop you from seeking the truth and staying committed to being honest with yourself and with other people. The ninth phrase: say out loud, "I am responsible for my life." When a narcissist is around, taking responsibility or accepting fault can be seen as a threat to their power and control. It is important to remember, though, that accountability is not about being in charge. Instead, it's about taking responsibility for our actions and decisions. By adopting this way of thinking, we free ourselves from their control and take charge of our own lives. When a narcissist sees their partner taking responsibility for their deeds and life, they might not like it. They might act in a way that is bothersome or try to stay in charge. Still, it's important to stay strong and put personal growth and development first. Narcissists depend on other people to take their minds off of their own problems and fears, but this doesn't make things better for them. They can only find real solutions if they face their troubles head-on. 10th phrase: say what you think is wrong. People who are narcissists are very sensitive to criticism. When you point out their mistakes, they might get very angry or try to make you feel less important. But what happens when their ego is shown the truth about their fallacy? When this happens, their response might be even worse. Narcissists hate it when they are shown to be wrong and are afraid of being caught lying. So, pointing out their mistakes can make them angry and lead to revenge, even if it was their own fault. Always keep in mind that getting helpful feedback is a normal part of growing as a person and as a worker. People make mistakes all the time because no one is perfect. Being able to respond positively to comments is important for staying strong and building relationships that matter. Getting through a situation when a narcissist doesn't like being criticized can be hard. However, staying calm and polite can help keep arguments to a minimum. Even though it may be tempting to try to change a narcissist's thoughts or actions, it is usually better to put our own health first and stay away from them. To protect ourselves from the bad effects of narcissistic behavior, we need to put our safety, mental health, and general well-being first. Remember that you are not alone if these words have given you hope and direction. Many people have to deal with difficult situations with narcissists, and it's important to have the tools and support you need to do so. When you're dealing with narcissists, asking for help or direction shouldn't be seen as a sign of weakness. Seeking help through therapy, support groups, or telling trusted family and friends about your problems can be very helpful as you move forward. In the event that you are dealing with a selfish person, know that you are not the only one. If you need help, please look at the information in the text. Feel free to share your ideas and experiences in the area below. And if you found this video useful, please click the thumbs up button. Take care of yourself first and foremost, and make sure you stay safe as you go. 10 things narcissists really worry about and fear during their life. If you've ever had to deal with an ego, what was it like? In that case, you'll know all about how annoyingly self-centered and insecure they are. Their never-ending need for approval and recognition makes them anxious about small things that most people wouldn't even notice. It's almost like they make up fears to use against the rest of the world and keep complaining all the time. Are you all set? I'm going to let you into the mind of a narcissist today by telling you the 10 things they think about the most every day. One is constant vanity, which is the narcissistic fixation on looks. Narcissists are very concerned with how they look and can't stop thinking about how they can look their best. Many hours spent in front of a mirror shaping a flawless exterior in the hopes of being admired by those nearby. Narcissists are always judging and comparing themselves to others, so they spend a lot of time making sure their outfits, makeup, and weight loss plans are perfect. Public spaces are no different. They're places where they can show off their perfect looks. The need for approval feeds the obsession with looking perfect in front of peers, feeding a constant need for sought-after respect and praise, a dangerous obsession that takes over every part of their life. When a narcissist pretends to be perfect, they hold on painfully to an idealized version of themselves. They are always trying to reach the next level of perfection while loving their image, often until the wee hours of the morning. Narcissists are obsessed with how they look, which is called illusory perfection. Narcissists may seem like they have everything because they are confident and charming. But their mental turmoil is caused by one thing: how other people see them. Their reputation and image guide everything they do, and they'll do anything to keep them clean. They carefully put on a polished front to hide their flaws and mistakes, but they know that this won't hold up to real scrutiny. Their weak sense of self-worth is tied only to approval from other people. Without other people's approval, they are hollow shells who need praise to fuel their false sense of grandeur. Because of this, they are always afraid of how other people see them and lie to get the praise and approval of those around them. Narcissists will even lie to people close to them, claiming that they are great at things they aren't, because they love the approval that comes with being seen as the best. The fear of imperfection, a narcissist's dangerous search for perfection. It seems like narcissists are always fighting against making mistakes because they are so afraid of showing how flawed they are. They avoid it at all costs because they think that making a mistake would make other people think they aren't good at what they're doing, which is a terrible flaw that they must avoid at all costs. The cycle keeps going because the constant push to be perfect makes people make more mistakes than they should. They are driven by perfectionism, which makes them want to be perfect in ways that are unrealistically out of reach for even the most talented people. But why is being perfect so important to a narcissist? It's because they see themselves as almost godlike and think that even the smallest mistakes will lead to terrible things. It is unthinkable for them to admit they were wrong and say sorry for what they did. Instead, they try to hide their flaws by blaming others or, in a grandiose delusion, proudly saying that the mistake never happened. 4. Narcissists are stuck because they need to be validated all the time. People who are narcissists are always worried about being alone, which makes them miserable. Always worrying is because they can't get enough of being admired and getting attention all the time. They are always looking for approval and love from the people around them, but it's often in vain. Narcissists are so addicted to praise that they think it is their divine right and that everyone should give it to them. But they don't understand how to make real links because they have a very skewed view of relationships and friendships, which leaves them with no sense of community at all. Their fear of being alone is made worse by their nervousness and the strange belief that they are only worthy of being alive if other people love and respect them. When narcissists are left to their own ways, they are stuck in a cycle of wanting approval and being afraid that this approval will be taken away. 5. The dark side of a narcissist's personality, the deep-seated fear of being found out. The fact that narcissists are naturally dishonest feeds their biggest fear, which is being caught and made public. People in this group are notoriously dishonest, and the thought of being accused of wrongdoing sends chills down their spines. The narcissist can't do anything because they're afraid of ruining their image and being left alone. They spend their whole lives making up fake identities, a complex web of lies that hides who they really are from everyone else. It would be terrible for them if this was taken away and they were shown for who they really are. Their carefully made mask is something they have to fight their whole lives to keep up. Narcissists are always on guard, trying to hide their real selves at all costs so they don't have to face the consequences of their actions or go back to the shadows from which they came. 6. A narcissist's never-ending thirst for power, the never-ending battle for control. The narcissist needs to be in charge of everything. They are obsessed with it so much that it's hard for us to understand. They are fixated on keeping a tight grip on their image and the things going on around them. They are afraid that the harsh forces of the world around them will break down their carefully crafted character. Because they are always wanting to be in charge, they take over everything they come across and use every chance to take power. They use manipulation and control to get power and control over other people and events. They set things up so that they perfectly match their idea of the ideal situation, making sure that there are no surprises or problems. Narcissists can't stand it when someone else loses control because it makes them look weak, which they can't do. They constantly put down and insult those around them in an effort to show who is the boss. It's a never-ending power struggle that wears down even the strongest wills. For a narcissist, the never-ending war to be in charge is the only thing that can stop them. 7. The never-ending battle for superiority. The narcissists need to win. Nasty people need to be successful to stay alive. Their thoughts are only on this one thing, their desire. They want to keep the idea that they are the best alive and not let anyone beat them or question them. They always want more. The way things are now isn't enough for them. It's like they can't get enough water. This person thinks a lot about how important it is for other people to think about them. If they do something wrong, they don't want to lose the image they've worked so hard to build. They can't move because of this fear. As a narcissist, getting compliments isn't just a treat. It's a sign that they're valuable, and that you agree with them. They try hard to beat everyone else because they want to be the best. Narcissists will do anything to shine and be seen as the winner. They will not stop until they get what they want. They think about every little thing they've done and feel good about themselves by concentrating on how great they are. Because of this, they freak out at even the smallest sign of failure, and they do everything they can to keep up the perfect image they've worked their whole lives to make. 8. The endless pursuit of perfection. The narcissist's never-ending search for flawlessness. Narcissists see perfection as the holy grail, and they are obsessed with it with everything they do. People's opinions of them are the most important thing to them, because they are concerned with keeping up a constant show of superiority. Their identity is tied to what other people think, because they are always worried about how others see them, because they are totally focused on how they look and act. Every look, every word, and every movement is carefully thought out and carried out, done perfectly, and shown without any breaks. Constantly worrying that you won't meet their high standards often leads to paralyzing anxiety. Narcissists need to be the most well-known person in the room and give the impression that they are great in order to avoid being found out and to keep the sense of power that keeps them going. For a narcissist, how they look is everything, and they spend a huge amount of time and effort making sure they look good. Absolutely everything about their beauty routine is carefully thought out to keep their image spotless. The narcissist's quest for perfection is a never-ending, tiring journey that almost seems crazy. The narcissist's low self-esteem and angry defense mechanisms are like scars from being rejected and criticized. When someone rejects or criticizes them, it hurts them deeply and leaves a permanent scar that affects everything they do. These people are very sensitive to rejection and criticism. Any negative feedback they receive is seen as an attack on their image, which they have spent a lifetime carefully crafting. Their worst fear is being exposed, which would show all the flaws they've been hiding their whole lives and destroy the image they've worked so hard to create. In reaction, they often act aggressively, hitting anyone they think is trying to hurt their fragile sense of self-worth. They only have a thin thread holding their fragile sense of self-worth together. One mistake can cause it to come apart completely, making them feel like losers and open to harm. Narcissists are crazy about wanting everyone to love them, and they can't stand the thought of even one person not liking them. They'll do anything to avoid having bad things said about them, thinking they have control over their surroundings to steer the story and avoid any criticism. The narcissist is like someone who is drowning and is hanging on to anything to stay afloat. They are stuck in a cycle of fear and anger that will never end. 10. The never-ending need for validation. How narcissists strive for excellence hides deep-rooted insecurities. Narcissists are always trying to be perfect, but their actions show that they have a deep-seated sense of not being good enough. They are always unhappy with themselves and are always looking for ways to do better than their peers and get other people to admire them. Some of the ways they show their obsession with perfection are by changing how they look and getting more money. But these fixes only work for a short time, and they quickly start to feel like something is missing again. Narcissists are always worried that they will never meet their own high standards, even though they are sure of themselves. As they look for validation and acceptance from others, simple daily tasks and interactions make them anxious. These acts set off a vicious cycle that makes them even more dependent on other people's opinions. They need affirmation to feel good about their worth, but their fear of not being good enough makes them want affirmation even more. There is a deep-seated insecurity in the narcissist's life that is hidden by their constant need for praise and excellence. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more thought-provoking talks about how complicated people are.